Fáilte Harden, a sin seo an Coile feisce da Budéin. Coile Federeso is on Réis Grampian Forest Rally. Réis a ghil páist ed a Forgan, sa códa ciad fichad cear ghil páist. Assassin, Édin agus Alaba. A sin códa d'ardis.
The SRC enters the second half of this shortened season with the Grampian Forest Rally. With the BRC in town, it's another event featuring an incredible mix of machinery on the entry list. Topping the SRC seeding is championship leader Jock Armstrong. The Fiesta driver will be setting the pace for the others to match.
Lacking a bit of time in the car, lacking this left-hand drive experience, but just don't worry about it. It's just one little excuse to add on to another, isn't it? But hopefully, I'm fine. It's good. It is a really good car.
So what's your plan? What's your general kind of plan for today then?
I normally have a plan to go as fast as I can, so I mean that's really it, isn't it? So no, we're okay. Cammy's there, he's confident, I'm confident. So
are you feeling more confident now in the Skoda?
Yeah, certainly after, I think we had 6 miles or something before the first stage of the Scottish, so 45 miles at the Scottish really helped, so we're feeling a lot more comfortable and we'll see how it goes today. The stage is a lot faster here, so we'll give it our best.
Yeah, all good, thanks. We believe we've got the car sorted now with new electrical systems and stuff, so feeling good.
So less pressure, more pressure being sort of a home event for you?
Yeah, maybe a bit more. It's amazing the stuff you do recognise, just going through the DVD and stuff, but just keen to see what the times are like between all these fast guys.
Yeah, I think we need to be as committed as we can be from the start. There's a lot of quick evos in amongst the field, so we'll need to be on it, right from the word go. So let's get into it as quick as possible. That's the game plan.
The opening loop and Armstrong and Fair are indeed setting the pace. 2 fastest times sees the Fiesta arrive at first service with an 8-second lead.
Whoa. Humongous sideways there.
Second at service, Gary Pearson and Niall Burns would lose 4 seconds to the Fiesta on both opening stages. Such was the pace of the top two, they were already 38 seconds ahead of third place. But the times didn't tell the whole story. Freddie Milne and Jamie Edwards were 38 seconds back, but they had spent time in a ditch on the opening loop. Freddie reckoning the off accounted for at least 15 of those seconds. Doing their best to disrupt the R5 party, Michael, Binnie and Claire Moe struggled to find enough grip over the first 2 stages. Michael also adjusting to some engine mapping changes after the overheating issues on the Scottish last time out.
Up, long flat right over 60 over crest, 120 up, left over flat crest, keep in narrows 70, right in over crest, 40, 3 left, 3 left.
7 seconds down on the Evo, Ian Forgan and Chris Lees continue to learn the ways of their new R5 with a very clean first loop, arriving at service just 2 seconds ahead of John Wink and Neil Shanks. The I-20 crew a bit confused at their times, feeling they were going quicker than the stopwatch suggested. But they'd fared better than McCombie and Coots. 17 seconds slower than Wink through SS1 after a puncture, the Focus crew would take 10 seconds back from the Hyundai in stage 2. To reach service, just 7 seconds down. Eighth at first service, Ian Baumgart and Dave Robson had started well. The Impreza just 3 seconds up on Richard Hill and Callum Atkinson's Evo after 2 stages. The White Lancer tied on time with the returning Scott Macbeth and Dan Forsyth. And rounding out the top 10 after 2 stages, Mark McCulloch and Michael Hendry topped the two-wheel drives early on. It had been an interesting morning, Mark getting caught out not listening to Michael, but avoiding any major damage. The Mark II just 6 seconds up on Scott Beattie and Paul Laswinsko.
Scott Beattie there.
The second loop would ramp up the drama. First to falter were Armstrong and Fair. A trip through the trees in SS3 bending the suspension and bursting the radiator. Gary Jennings helped seal that between stages, and amazingly Jock and Cammy would arrive at service still in the lead. You would have expected Pearson and Burns to capitalise, but they had their own issues. We'll let Gary explain.
Third stage was quite good there, but we got a puncher in the last sort of mile and a half. So it just so happened Jock had an off that stage, so he still took 4 seconds out of us. So a bit unfortunate that that's the way it worked, but yeah, we're still only 11 behind him, so we'll see how it goes this afternoon.
Moving into third, Binnie and Mo were happy to have a bit more grip on this loop. The Evo still punching above its weight against the higher spec cars.
Yeah, Drumtochty was still very greasy, but we had a good run through there. But again, then we went back into Fetteresso and it had just cleaned up and dried up, and it was just brilliant.
Also moving up, McCombie and Coots continued to fight back after their puncture. A stall in the start line of SS4 did nothing but motivate Bruce to try even harder.
With a better stage 3, I stalled it in stage 4 off the line. So I think I got the red mist on, and I think that's how we're so quick in stage 4.
So out to finish 5 and 6 or good push?
No, let's crack on.
And they were only 3 seconds ahead of Forgan and Lees, the Fiesta crew continuing their good run, although they were annoyed to discover a nail in one of their new tyres when they got back to service. Dropping down on this loop, Milne and Edwards lost all their brakes towards the end of stage 3 and had to cruise through 4, losing a minute to the leaders.
Had a good run on stage 3, and I thought I was just maybe trailing the brakes a bit. Lost all the brakes coming to the end of the stage, and there was a wee 10-minute hold up, and then just on the start of 4 there, it was just nothing to the floor. So it's, as you see, so it's been a very interesting drive home. And,
well, at least you've got here though.
Yeah, exactly. We got an hour to sort it, so but I've lost a minute. We were, just poodling through that last one. So.
Yeah.
Wink and Shank's frustrations continued. Feeling like they were going well until they saw the times, they now suspected a turbo or anti-lag problem was holding the car back in the stages. Continuing to lead the two-wheel drives, McCulloch and Hendry were happier with their second loop. Mark now listening properly to the notes and enjoying swapping times with Irish escort legend Marty McCormick.
Silence at the table. Yeah. Marty McCormick.
Another crew to suffer a puncture, Beattie and Swinsko climbed to 9th on this loop regardless. Scott planning a tyre compound change on the last loop to help with the Evo's performance. Hill and Atkinson arrived back in second service, still in the top 10, but would go no further. The Evo in serious transmission trouble. And just outside the top 10, John Rintoul and Ross Hind entered service with just 2 seconds on Barry Groundwater and Sean Donnelly, both crews hoping to push into the top 10 on the last 2 stages. Those of you with longer memories will remember the team of Fraser Jones and Neil Thompson. Rapid in 205s, Fiestas and Evos, their last rally as a team was the Scottish 14 years ago, where they finished 13th in a Fiesta ST, right in amongst the four-wheel drive cars. Well, they were out in a borrowed BMW as a 40th birthday present for Fraser. Sadly, it would all end with a hold sump, but it was fantastic to see them out, running well and enjoying themselves. Hopefully, we'll get to see them again. Two more stages would round out the event, and there's still time for some drama.
Oh, my darling.
18th at the finish, Peter Stewart and Harry Marchbank's second event in the 208 wasn't quite as smooth as the Scottish. A puncture in the middle loop delayed things, and Peter wasn't too happy with his own driving. Some damper adjustments for the final loop helped, and they would finish third two-wheel drive. Just 5 seconds up the road, Paul McArlane and Niall McKenna were experiencing their new engine on gravel for the first time. A broken diff brace early on made the fast sections interesting, and they had a small off in the final stage. But Paul was more concerned about losing the exhaust, and had an offer to anyone who found it.
Anybody finds it, we're staying in Alford tonight. Come and leave it to us. We'll buy you a pint.
16th at the finish, championship sponsor Kevin Crawford and co-driver Andrew Stevenson had their best run of the season so far on their home event. The Evo taking the Alban Garage Challengers win. In the top 10 early on, Baumgart and Robson lost a minute on the second loop with a puncture. And after that they adopted a safe approach to make sure they reached the finish, taking 15th and second in class. Fourteenth at the finish, Bob Adamson and Jane Nichol were happy with their progress in the Fiesta. A switch to a shorter gear ratio before the event, transforming the car and adapting it better for Bob's driving style. 13th and a class win went to Chris Colley and Gary MacDonald on their second event in the Impreza. A small diff issue pre-event meant the handbrake was out of commission, but they drove around the problem to grab a solid finish. After gearbox problems ruined both the opening rounds, Scott McCombie and Mark Fisher had reverted to a standard gearbox in a bid to see the finish this time out. It tried its best. Stage 2 was spent stuck in second after the linkage came to bits. An off in 5 also didn't put them out, and they would take their first finish of the season. Rintoul and Hind would grab 11th at the finish, losing out in their battle with Groundwater and Donnelly. The Impreza a solid 10th in the SRC. Top two-wheel drive once again. McCulloch and Hendry were delighted at the finish, especially considering the near misses early on. 8 seconds ahead of Marty McCormick at the end of the event was a big scalp for the Scottish two-wheel drive championship leaders.
Apart from me being a bit silly earlier on, I wasn't really concentrating, but after that we've got going well and had a good battle with Marty McCormick. He's over from Ireland doing a bit of testing for the RAC and we've managed to just nip him, so that's great. Like, we didn't think we'd be anywhere near his pace, so I'm more than happy.
Clobbering a big stone on the final stage, Beattie and Swinsko were relieved to get away without a second puncture. The White Evo taking 8th in the SRC and 2nd in class after another solid performance. The unregistered Scott Macbeth would slip in just behind Wink and Shanks. John happy with how he drove, but disappointed with the times after the turbo issues. 7th was still a good result, especially considering it was their first finish this year.
Flat crest, 300 up, all the way to the top. Then you've got flat crest, middle, that's your flat crest middle, 50. Flat crest again, 50. Small crest middle, 120. Here, keep right over small crest and 2 left in. 220. Small flat crest middle, 70.
6th was another excellent result for Forgan and Lees, moving both into 2nd in the championship points. The Fiesta finished just 3 seconds behind McCombie and Coots's Focus. Another stall in the final loop, annoying Bruce, but he was happy to see the finish of his home event.
In over small crest, tightens to long 3 over crest over 100. 40 down, left 1, open hairpin right. Open hairpin right. In 2, left 1 of a small crest. 70.
In the battle for the final podium spot, Binnie and Mole gave it everything to keep ahead of the R5s and WRCs. 2 clean runs on the final loop, they did all they could, but would lose out to the recovering Freddie Milne and Jamie Edwards. Taking 21 seconds back on stage 5 and a further 16 on the final stage, the HOS Fiesta would snatch a podium on the last stage of the rally.
3 left in, 80, 4 right in, opens long, push, 60, short 3 left, repeat, short 3 left, and 4 left, logs, and go, 5 left in, slight right don't, 60, 5 left in, 130, go on, 6 left, flat 6 right over junction, 130, caution crest, immediate, tight 4 left, tight 4 left, and crest 40, 3 right in, into turn square left, tidy here, tidy.
The final stage, and the drama isn't over. Armstrong and Fair with a puncture, dropping to 2nd on the final stage. Frustrating, but another 2nd is still a solid result for their championship aspirations, heading into Jock's home event. Pearson and Burns had piled on the pressure in stage 5, slashing 9 seconds out of the lead with a fantastic time. That left them with 2 seconds to make up, and they were in the perfect position to strike when the Fiesta hit trouble. Gary very pleased to take maximum points in both the SRC and the BRC National after a great drive. So Pearson takes the win on the Grampian, but Armstrong is still in the driver's seat in the championship. Next up is the Armstrong Galloway Hills Rally on September the 11th.